Hey guys, welcome to another late night lesson. We're calling this a deep dive on an example from Blues Volume 2. And once again, I'm kind of tired from today, but I'm going to go ahead and push through, and we're actually going to go over every single key for this lick. Sheet music is up there, but let's go ahead and dig right in, and I'm going to explain exactly how I approach this lick. We're going to take it through all keys. I'll show you all of the different fingerings, and so this is going to be a long lesson, but let's do this. Okay, so the first thing is we will do it as it's written up there in the sheet music. And the first thing I notice is this E flat to the E. Now currently I have the second finger sliding from the E flat to the E, but I actually prefer the third, so let's change that fingering right there. So all you're going to do is go from the minor third of a C major scale, right? 1, 2, 3, flat that, and that's your grace note, right? So that's the downbeat is actually the E. So 1, triplet, and. So 1, triplet, and what's happening there is that's just a C triad in second inversion. Make sure that you guys understand the theory, is I'm using minor third to the major third, so E, and then I go up to the fifth note of C, to the third note, and the root, which is just a triad, right? But then it comes down to your G, which is the fifth of C, which makes a C second inversion triad. This is very important to the theory behind this lick. So now I want you to think about this. 1, triplet, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, triplet, and 2 and 3 and 4 and I will explain why that's important of thinking about that triplet in just a minute. But let's go ahead and make sure we're going to practice this. 1, triplet, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, triplet, and 2 and 3 and 4 and the reason this is we're counting that out like that is because now we're going to work on locking this up with the left hand. If you guys have blues example 1 through 3, you'll notice that the main bass line that we do there is the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And you've seen in a lot of videos I've done recently, we've done this bass line 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're going to go over both of those bass lines, but first we're going to work on this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you guys have my courses, you know that I make sure that you're playing this C, G to C, A in eighth notes, but that you're always making sure you repeat that bottom C. Some of my students in the past, sometimes they'll really focus on playing the G, but sometimes they hold the bottom note so they're not actually repeating that C at the bottom. But just make sure every time you're keeping them even so they get equal weight, and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if I'm actually going to lock this up, I'm going to do it like this. 1, triplet, and 1, triplet, and 1, triplet, and 2, 1, triplet, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, triplet, and 2 and 3 and 4. And notice how that locks up. So even in the first two, 1 and, I'm doing 1, triplet, and. So that gets that. And then when I cross over, let's talk about the theory as to what I'm crossing over to, because this will help us in all keys. We're going to go to the 4 chord of whatever key we're in. So in this case, we're going to the 4 chord of a C blues, which is F chord. And all I'm doing is my root and my third to cross over. So let me do this again slowly. 1, triplet, and cross over. And then when I cross over, I'm going to the it's basically a whole step down from the G note, but that's the 4 chord in F. And notice that I'm on a C and A for that. 1, triplet, and 2. And then I'm going to go 1, triplet, and 2, and. The C and A is against the E flat and G. So the minor third, and then I'm going to go to the major third, and then C. So da da da. notice that when I go minor third to major third, that's just a regular C chord. So we end in root position. So we minor third to major third again, just like we started. Minor third to major third, second inversion triad to the fourth chord of the key, minor third to major third. Now, I will explain right now the other bass line that we're going to do at the end, just so you guys know that we will also at least teach the other bass line. But I'll go ahead and play it now so that you understand where we're going at the end. So here we go. So you can play it like we've been playing it. We're just learning this. Okay, we can do that, or we can do this. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. Okay, so we'll come back to that at the end. So let's go ahead. We just did this in C. Let's transpose, and let's go ahead and go, let's go up in half steps. So here we are at C. First thing we have to do is we're going to go up to D flat. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to notice is D flat, A flat, to B, D and B flat, D flat and B flat, okay? Make sure I have the bass line. And in my right hand, I'm doing the third up to the fifth, right? And actually, let me say this is important. We could do hammer on minor third to major third, but I always like to teach just the simple things as we're getting into this stuff. Like, unless you're sliding from a black key to white key, we'll just go to the third automatically. So you don't have to do the hammer on. Okay, we'll just go to the third on the ones that we can't slide from a black key to a white key. So here we go. 1 triplet and 1 triplet and. This is the first section that you want to practice. And then we're going to cross over to the 4 chord in D flat, which is G flat. So when I get over to there, I'm on D flat and B flat. Sorry about that. Again. Let me slow it down. Okay, now the reason I want to take a little time on this D flat key, because this is one of the keys that you may want to use a different fingering. Okay, the fingering that I used on C is the same one I just used on D flat, and that is 3, 5, 2, 3, 2, 1. So that's the first part that you get, right? So I would keep that fingering. When you cross over to the 4 chord of D flat, you can use 3, 5 on that G flat chord, or, well, if you do that, you're up into the keys, and then you still have to hammer on from the minor third to the major third, and there I'm using 2, 3, 1. So we have now, that is a tricky fingering because you have to be very precise there, and once you get up into the keys there, you have to be really precise to get to that right there. So using 2 and 4 on E. The other fingering that you can use is this. Let me show you what I did that was different. 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, like normal, the second inversion triad. And then when I crossed over, instead of 3, 5, I'm using 2, 4. 2, 4, because one, your fingers are bigger there, instead of just using the pinky. You can get over there and go G flat and B flat, 2 and 4, and then watch this. E and G sharp, which is the minor third, to the major third. So watch this. 2, 4, 3, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1. I actually like that from a precision thing to make sure I get it. I'm going to use that fingering, and that may take you a little while to get if you're used to just the other fingering. But let me do the first fingering. I'll practice it with the left hand. That's the first fingering. Second fingering. And this is one of the things that I would like for you to comment in the comment section, is which fingering did you prefer on keys like D flat. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll go over the theory one more time behind this lick or around this lick, and then let's go up a half step. Okay, so D flat, we go to the root 5 to root 6, and I have that, no problem. Now I'm looking for the third, and I go up to the 5th of the key, and that's my second inversion triad. So I'm kind of hunting for that triad, and that's the section that I'm going to practice. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, let's go up to D major. Now we're really rocking and rolling here. So root 5th of D major to root 6 of D major. I'm going to find the third. Yes, I could hammer on to that that F to F sharp, minor third to major third, but again, if we're not sliding from a black note to a white note, we're just going to go to the third. And there's my D major right there in second inversion. So we have this. I'm going to practice that. Listen, look how nice this is to practice just that section. 1 triplet and 1 triplet and 2 and 3 and 4. Now let me go over how I came up with that so quickly, because I've practiced this a lot. And I'm going to go D major in second inversion, and I'm going to cross over. The theory is to go to the 4 chord of whatever scale you're in. We're in the key of D, which goes up to the 4 chord, and a D blues is G. There you go, root in the third, and then I'm minor third to major third, and guess what? End on the triad. So I'm using the fingering 2, 4, up to 3, and root. All right, let's do a quick review. Remember that I always say that if you guys get stuck or you feel overwhelmed, go back to your home key, the one that your comfortable key, so C major. Okay, so C is good. Now D flat, I'm going to use the second fingering. D major, first fingering. Okay, let's go ahead and go to E flat major. So let's think about the theory again. I'm sliding from the minor third to the major third, so we can use the fingering of using our third finger, sliding minor third to major third. And let me find the triad. So it's the 5th note of an E flat scale, root, third, and the 5th. So we're going to practice this first section. Remember that you have the root and the 5th of E flat to root 6th. I love practicing this section by itself. And we have to go to the 4 chord of E flat, which is A flat. And notice that I'm putting my third finger on A flat and my pinky on C. So we have this. When I cross over, I'm E flat and C in my left hand. And watch me cross over again. My thumb's on B flat, and I get there, and I go minor third to major third, and then finish with the E flat triad. And notice I'm 2, 4, slide up with my second finger to E flat. Let me do this one very slowly. Now some of these are pretty difficult as you go to different keys, and this is one of them, doing E flat, because here's what you have to do. Notice that I'm into the keys, right? I'm not way back here. There's no way to play it like that. You have to get up into the keys, get your hand over each of those notes, and practice these in sections. But watch this. You have to use a good pivot here to get over. Make sure you're really accurate getting from the A flat to the C, and then it's minor third to major third. So. And this is how you're going to get it, by practicing it very slowly. get overwhelmed, go back to C. Okay, E flat. Now, I just went back and I went over all of them, but if you get overwhelmed, just go back to C and spend some time with that. I want you to feel comfortable, and this may take you weeks, months, a year. It just depends on your level and how bad you want to learn it. So, all right, so E flat. Let me do it one more time. Now, if you practice it really slowly like that, you'll get it. Okay, the next one is E major, and again, if we can't slide, we're just going to go right to the third of an E major, third, fifth, come back down, root, and fifth. So, root fifth to root sixth of E major. Now, this is going to be a fun one. So we have. Now, I'm playing the first fingering right now, which is very difficult. I used to play it like this. I used to do this where you get up into the key. Let me go behind the theory again. So the first section. One triplet and. Now, when I cross over to the 4 chord, it's A. I used to do 3, 5, and then the minor third to the major third and end on the triad. But I like the fingering 2, 4 here. Watch this fingering. 2, 4 against the E and C sharp. Minor third to the major third. So I'm using 1, 3, 2, and 1. Let me try that again. I do think that it's good to be able to play both fingerings, even if it's just for practicing getting up into the keys. But I promise you, I think that on this one, the most consistent fingering is 2, 4 here, because you have more room. You have too much. It's too much potential for error to try to get up into the keys with the 3 and 5 there. So if you use 2 and 4, look where I am, like on the front part of the key. Now 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 1. Cool. All right, let's go to F. So F is a nice, it fits under the hand very nicely. Minor third to major third. Fifth, I'm just looking for that triad. 1 triplet and 1 triplet and. 4 chord, B flat and D against the F and D. When I cross over, B flat, which is the 4 chord of the F blues, minor third to major third, and we end on the F triad. That feels pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and go on up to F sharp. We're going to go right to the third, find that triad, second inversion, finding F sharp and C sharp to F sharp and D sharp. One triplet and. Now this is another one. The 4 chord of F sharp is B, right? So we know that we're going to our B chord, then minor third to major third to end on F sharp. But once again, on this one, you can do 3, 5. Let's try the other fingering. I would like to know what you guys think about this. So the second fingering puts 2 and 4 right there. 1, 3 on the minor third, major third, 2, 1. If you do the first fingering, you have to be really precise and practice it really slowly. So notice that I went here, thumb, and I have to get over to the B and D sharp, then 2 and 4. But if I do the other fingering, there's a little more room for error, I think. 2-4, 1-3, 2-1. And if you practice that second fingering really slowly, I think you'll get it. You'll build up strength, and you'll be very accurate with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to G major. This one will feel really nice. It fits right under the hand just like C does. So sliding from the minor third of G major, and there's my triplet that I'm working on. 1 triplet and 1 triplet and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 triplet and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let me go over the theory again. I'm working on this, no problem. 1 triplet, and when I cross over, I'm looking for the 4 chord of G major, which is C major. Then I go minor third to major third. 2-4, 2-1. Okay, let's go up to A flat. And I'm going to go right to the third. Third is C. And go up to the 5th note of A flat, your root. So there's my A flat in second inversion against my root 5th in second inversion to root 6. Now when I cross over here, this is another one of those. I actually really like the second fingering on this one as well, because watch this. If I'm using 3 and 5, I have to be really accurate there. And you guys will see what I mean when you try this lick and you cross over with 3 and 5. You have to be really precise. And it can be done, and sometimes I'll use both fingerings on that key. But I think a more secure fingering is 2-4. Let me do it really slowly. Cross over. Again. And whenever you use this second fingering, you go 2-4, 1-3, minor third, major third, root. Let me do the other fingering, the first fingering. And let me give you a tip. If you are using the first fingering on all of these, which you can do, is one thing I do is I kind of pick up my hand just enough to kind of get it, release the tension, and let my hand move into place. Second fingering. It feels so much more secure to me. All right, let's go ahead and go to A major. Need to know my A major scale. I'm going to go right to the third. There's my second inversion triad. Root 5th to root 6. 1 triplet and 1 triplet and 1 triplet and 2, 3 and 4 and. Now this is another one where I'm going to encourage you to use the second fingering. Right now I'm using the first fingering. I want you to see how difficult this is to get up into the keys for D and F sharp with 3 and 5, then 2, 4, minor third to major third, and finishing off with the triad. You have to be really precise, but watch what happens if I use 2 and 4. I hope that you can already see how much better that feels and looks, and probably sounds too. Okay, let me do it a couple more times slowly. So A major to the 4 chord, which is D, then minor third to major third, and we end on the root. Alright, let's go up to B flat major. Let me come down the octave and see how we're doing there. So we'll do, I'll just come down here just for fun. So we have minor third to major third, and then there's my triad right there, second inversion. So root 5th, one triplet, and when I cross over here, I definitely want to use the first fingering. So the 4 chord of a B flat blues is E flat, minor third to major third, and there's your B flat triad. No problem there, that feels pretty good. All right, let's go to B major. Root 5th of B major scale to root 6, that's my bass line. And in my right hand, I'm gonna do the 3rd of B major, which is D sharp, 5th, root, and 5th. So we have this sound, 1 triplet and, 1 triplet and, 1 triplet and. Now, this is once again one that I'm going to tell you to use the second fingering. Right now I'm using the first fingering. But once again, I have to get up into the keys, and I use 3. If I use 3 and 5 there, I have to be really accurate. So B major, the 4th note of the scale is E. That's E major chord, the 4 chord. E and G sharp with 3 and 5. And then I go 2, 4 to go minor third to major third and get to my B major. But watch this. If I use 2 and 4 instead of 3 and 5, I don't have to be quite as accurate. Two, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2 and 1. So let me do that again. C major. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just go over the other bass line just for fun. Not with all the keys, but just for, well, maybe we can do that. Let me just do at least 1 or 2. So C major, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Again. 2, 3, and 4. So it crosses over on the 4. 4 and. So my 5th note of the bass line is on the F and A. So the 4 chord in my right hand. So F and A. So if I go to B, that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and use that bass line, and we'll go all through the keys again. And if you're a beginner, don't worry about it, about the bass line. Just focus on the right hand. But what I want to close with is, for you guys who have been following me lately and doing all my lessons, you know we've been doing that other bass line, which is actually coming out in Blues Volume 4, which let me go ahead and do a fun little plug. First thing is that if you're still hanging out, that means you're probably into a lot of the stuff that we've been doing. But I still have Blues Volume 1 at $7. I had somebody give a shout out to Dan for getting that today. He got all 3 courses, and if you do get the Blues Volume for $7, you'll see a cool thing about the other opportunities that you get to get Blues Volume 2 and 3. But anyway, I've been really working hard on Blues Volume 4 as well, and we have so many cool things that we've been doing in that. So more about that later, but I'm telling you, you want to get Blues Volume 1 if nothing else. $7, it was $24.99, something like that. But I'm trying to make it affordable to everybody and just want you to get it because I think that you'll like it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the bass line, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I just wanted to do a review again of all the fingerings that I recommend so that you can practice this and try to get all keys down. And I don't care how long it takes you. So here we go. I want you to feel good about it. I don't want you to be overwhelmed by it. Okay, that's what I meant to say. Okay, here we go. First thing I'm going to do, C major, find that 3rd. Here we go. 2 and 3. So we'll call this fingering 1. No problem there. Okay, let's go up to D flat. I think I like fingering 2. Let me see. Yeah, I like fingering, I'm sorry, 1. Wait. I think I like 1 for this. No, let me mess with it. I don't know. They're both a little bit tricky. I think this might be the most fingering 2 will be the most accurate for you. Yeah, let's do that. Finger 2. Yep, fingering. So D major, finger 1 for sure. Let's do E flat. It's finger 1. E major is definitely finger 2. F major is 1. Now F sharp, 2 for sure. G major for sure is 1. Let's go A flat. I think definitely finger 2. Yeah, okay, so the next one is A major. I definitely like 2. B flat is definitely 1. What about B major? 2 for sure. So we have B major. Okay, so that's enough for tonight. I know this is going to be a really long deep dive that we have done tonight. I will tell you guys, this is a cool fact, is that we went up by 53 or 4% yesterday, viewership and engagement and everything over the last few weeks. So thank you for that. I'm really working hard for you guys. And I realize that late at night, my words don't come out the way they want to, but hopefully this is helping you. And I love it when you guys comment in the chat, and it really does help everything that I'm doing. Okay, so once you get this down, the next step would be to put it with some of the other things we've been doing, some of the other examples. I always tell people that, like, get these licks down. This is like a vocabulary that you're learning. When you're studying with me, I mean, you could study with anybody, I realize it, and you can get all kinds of courses and everything, but you have to decide on focusing with a person or a couple of different people, and then really digging in, right? When I created Blues Volume 1, it's 10 licks over the same repeated bass line. But the idea is that you're learning things, a vocabulary that you're going to be able to use and make up music, and then start to make your own ideas and put it all together. So for instance, if you learn just Blues Example 1, just like this, I could just all day long just do this. How about this? You guys get the idea, right? So there are all kinds of licks that we've been doing lately, and you just start to put them all together and have fun with it, and try not to get overwhelmed with anything. So have fun with this. I can't wait to hear from you guys on this particular example, and tell me which ones in the comments that you find difficult, and then I would love for somebody out there to actually put the fingering suggestions that I gave you guys, like put C major fingering 1, 2, so that other people can easily know which fingerings we're talking about. Other than that, I appreciate everything, and I hope y'all have a great night. And I'm going to try to get some rest, but I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive. You guys are awesome. See you in the next video.